So, hello, everybody, and welcome. Yes, welcome back here at BSN Network. Today, welcome you back here at BSN Network. This is the BSN Network podcast here today. It is Wednesday, September 23rd. Hope everybody's having a good day so far and a good rest of their day yesterday. I know I did. Hopefully you did as well and is having a good day so far today. I am. Hopefully you are as well, like I always say every podcast. So yeah, we got a lot of sports to get to today. Devonta Freeman is a New York Giant, signed a 1-year, $3 million deal yesterday. One quick thing I want to clear up before I start up this podcast. Well, first off, Yankees played amazing last night. They won. Yankees won, currently the 5 seed in the playoffs. But one quick thing I want to say and I want to make clear yesterday about the podcast. So if you didn't see it, I did upload a podcast yesterday. You may not have saw it, though, because I did upload it very, very late on it. Very, very, very late yesterday. And the reason behind that was there were some YouTube struggles. I was running through technical difficulties. I would log on to YouTube and it would just give me the loading screen. It would not give me anything else. It would just be it would just be loading. Nothing would load in. I tried restarting the computer. I tried restarting everything. I tried almost everything. Wasn't working. So I left it be, did some other stuff, and I came back like an hour and a half later. It worked. So that's why the pod yesterday got uploaded. Like, I did the pod. That's why the pod yesterday got uploaded way after I did it. I usually upload it 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around there. Yesterday, I'm pretty sure it got done at like 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it was very late. I know, I was uploading it while I was watching the Yankees game, which is just crazy. It was very, very late I uploaded it. So if you didn't see it, I did upload a pod. It was very, very late. I had to make sure I uploaded something so that I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging without any updates. So it was whether I just made a quick video off my phone and uploaded that way, or I uploaded the actual podcast. So if you didn't see it yesterday, I did upload a podcast, but it was very, very late. So hopefully today I don't have those technical difficulties and I can get it uploaded at its normal time, which is around 2:33-ish p.m. Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around there. So just want to clear that up. I did do a podcast yesterday. It was just uploaded later due to some technical difficulties. So sorry about that, but it is uploaded if you want to go watch it, or if you did watch it already, then that's good. So with all that being said, though, these are the topics today. We got Devonta Freeman and the New York Giants. He signed like I said just a little bit ago, signed a 1-year, $3 million contract with the New York Giants. Nothing crazy, nothing outrageous. I'll talk about the deal, though. I do like it. So good move for the New York Giants. Then we got the Jets practice and Adam Gase. So the Jets, there's been some things going on with the New York Jets that we have problems at practice. 2 players have came out publicly and said it yesterday. Avery Williamson joined a sports talk radio show and said our practice just isn't practice. It's not good. They really feel like they don't get much out of it. They're not running correct plays. It's just not good. Practice just isn't very good. So I'm trying to talk about that because I'm infuriated when I hear about that. And I talk about Devonta Freeman first topic, but I could go on a rant right now about it. And I will later on the podcast. I mean, you can't make this up. You're talking about an NFL team and 2 players. And these are not 2 no-name players. I mean, Avery Williamson, starting linebacker, and Bradley McDougall, who came over from the Seahawks trade with Jamal Adams, came over here. He's supposed to be our best safety. Those are 2 guys. Those are 2 very good players on defense. Those aren't 2 third-string guys that are not really making that big of an impact. Avery Williamson, Bradley McDougall, you can make the argument, are 2 top 5 players on our defense right now. So those are not, and they're being honest when they say this, and I want to thank them too, because a lot of players are forced to say stuff. When you come in front of the media, you're forced to sometimes say stuff, and sometimes players are forced to say how good the player is, how good a coach is, how much they like this person. And some of them have done that, but Avery Williamson and Bradley McDougall have came out twice. And they've said practice is not practice. It is not, now they practice, but it's not practice that's going to help you win. So you're telling me you're not going to practice well and expect to go out there on Sundays and play well? So I'll talk about that coming up after Devonta Freeman, because I don't want to waste everything now and then not have anything to talk about later. So Jets practice, we'll talk about that. It's just crazy, Adam Gase and the Jets and all that good stuff. Then to wrap up the podcast, we got the Yankees, Mets, and Stanley Cup. So Yankees won yesterday. Played very, very well. And the Stanley Cup resumes tonight with Game 3 of the series. It's crazy, already Game 3. I mean, it's literally crazy. It's already Game 3. So Game 3 tonight, the Lightning versus the Dallas Stars. I'll give you that preview coming up in a little bit. And the Yankees, I'm going to take some more time. I'm going to kind of tell you what I thought of Gerrit Cole's first full season. So, Gerrit Cole's final start of the season was last night. His final start of the season was last night. Got picked up the win. 7 strong innings. Won a run. Final 2 starts of the season were amazing. Stellar by Cole. Finished with a 2.82 ERA in his first season as a New York Yankee. Still got playoffs, but overall, pretty good regular season for first year of hopefully that is 8 more strong years with Cole with us. So good start for the Yankees. And with all that being said, that is what I got for the BSN Arc podcast. So this is the BSN Arc podcast, and let's get right into it. So 5 minutes into the video, I'm finally just getting into the first topic. So here we go. So Devontae Freeman, Giants reportedly agree to 1 year, $3 million contract. So if you don't know, the New York Giants star running back, star player in the NFL right now, not just their star running back, probably one of the best players on the team, one of the better players in the NFL right now. Saquon Barkley went down last week with a torn ACL, is done for the season. I mean, tears ACL, of course, you're going to be done for the season. So he's done for the year, torn ACL. So, the Giants, you're going to need a running back. Same thing with my fantasy team. As a matter of fact, I was very active last night in fantasy. I was looking through trades. I didn't propose any, but I was really active looking through trades, trying to get a running back because I need another running back. Barkley's out. I need a running back now. So I'm trying to trade at the moment. I proposed a trade for Austin Eckler. Don't know if that's going to go through. Don't know if it is. Don't know if not. Hopefully it goes through because I very well could use Eckler. The person I'm trading with, they need a receiver, so I'm giving them a receiver. And then I'm getting a running back in return because I need a running back, they need a receiver, so kind of they fit each team. So they need a receiver, I'm giving them a receiver. I need a running back, they're giving me a running back. It hasn't been accepted yet, but I don't even know if it will be accepted. It might not be, but I'm just trying to. I mean, I don't want to live off a waiver wire, right? I picked up James Robinson, he's good, but I don't want to live off a waiver wire either because waiver wire, it's not trying to be mean, it's not the best players out there. So I don't want to live off of that. I'm trying to get some trades into it where I could get maybe better players than what's on the waiver, but we'll see really how this all unfolds within the next couple of days here to see what happens with my fantasy team here. So Devontae Freeman, Giants are in a similar situation like I am. I need a running back for fantasy. Giants need a running back for the regular team. So the Giants star running back Saquon Barkley tears ACL, done for the year. They go out and pick up Devontae Freeman. Okay, Devontae Freeman, former Atlanta Falcons running back. I mean, Devontae Freeman. Here's my whole deal with Devontae Freeman. Right, I really believe Devontae Freeman's a good. He reminds me a lot of a Todd Gurley, right? Was dominant for the first couple of years, and the past 2 years, not including this year because this year he hasn't played yet. The past 2 years have been choppy for Devontae Freeman. If you follow what I'm saying, it's been choppy. It's been couple good games here and there, but nothing insane like you were 2 years ago. It was a couple maybe 90-yard games here and there, but nothing like where you would put up 200 yards in a game and 3 touchdowns, right? It wasn't anything like that. I mean, both these running backs, Devontae Freeman, when he's on and he's got a good team, got a good offensive line in front of him, I mean, he can be dangerous. I mean, you can make the argument he could be the best running back in the NFL. I mean, look what he saw this season. You saw what he did this season that they made the Super Bowl and obviously blew the big 28-3 lead against the Patriots. But still, you look what he did last season. He was on a good Falcons team with a good offensive line. You give him a good team, a good supporting cast, a good offensive line, a good coach, good offensive coordinator, good overall team, he can make things happen. He's not getting that in New York, though. The Giants are struggling team, struggling offensive line, good coaches, very good offensive coordinator, Jason Garrett, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You saw what he did there. Never had a losing season, right? I think this is a good move. You're getting a guy that is got good speed. You're getting a guy that can, and I love this out of running backs, right? If you know me from all my podcasts and just know me in general from just what I like out of a running back, I like a running back that can give you 2-3 yards if you need him to, but he can also burst for a good 7-8. Devontae Freeman can do that. He's a power back. He's strong, very good lower half, very strong lower half of his body. His legs are very strong. What he does, he gets he gets 2-3 solid yards out. 4th down and 1, pound it right up the middle of Devontae Freeman, right? Even on a 3rd down and 6, give it to Devontae Freeman. He can bounce outside and give you 7-8 yards. I like running backs that can do that. I like to call them 2-dimensional running backs in the running game. You can have 3-dimensional, which could be power, medium yards, and then you could just have an absolute explosive running back, which can get you 15-20. You also have running backs that could receive game. But I like running backs that could do both. I like running backs that give you 3-4 quality yards, but then also could burst out in the open for 8, 9, and even maybe 10. Now, we have to see what Freeman does here. Freeman has not played a football game he played right? I think he played last year, but he has not played a football game since last year. He's missed. He did not play yet this year. Now he's on the New York Giants. You also got to realize, look at what the team he's on. He was on a Falcons team with a borderline good offensive line. He's on a Giants team with a borderline bad offensive line. Giants offensive line isn't very good. Falcons was decent, better than the Giants, but still, he was able to make things happen in Atlanta. I first want to see. This is going to be my first judgment. They play the 49ers this week. This is a banged up 49ers team. You're talking about a team they're almost the New York Yankees of football at the moment. Injuries. You're talking about a banged up 49ers team. You're talking about a team that needs help badly. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about a banged up 49ers team that needs help badly. He can get off to a good start this week. Playing at no Bosa. He traded DeForest Buckner in the offseason. No Solomon Thomas. No Richard Sherman in secondary, and that matters for a running back too. He gets past the first 2 levels, D-line, middle linebacker, you're in the clear in the secondary. You don't have to face up against Sherman. He's a hard-hitting who is a hard-hitting corner. That is a weak defense this week they're going up against. And also a defense that is very scared to play on the MetLife Stadium turf. And I don't want to be mean when I say that and sarcastic. They are. They're worried. So some of these players might be nervous and their emotions might take over. They might not go out there and give it 100% because they're worried if they said that the turf was sticky. NFL officials are over there right now checking out the turf. They said it was sticky. They said they just felt like they couldn't they try to run and it would just their feet would stick to the ground, and I guess that's why torn ACL, things like that are happening. Although here's the whole thing. Not just the Niners that torn ACLs. Giants did on a regular grass field. Cortland Sutton did. Broncos did on a grass field, I think, in Tennessee. Right? There were so many torn ACLs this year. There's just so many injuries. Right? So, you got to watch out. This is a tough, this is a defense. This is a scary defense. Top 5 maybe in the league when they're healthy. But this is not a healthy defense this week. So, the offensive line has definitely a less load to go up against. Now, you still have Javon Kinlaw, who was your first-round pick out of South Carolina, had an amazing career over there, trying to start a new chapter in the NFL. I think it was their 11th or 12th or 13th pick, something like that. Was really, really good in South Carolina. Has a really bright future ahead of him, I really believe, with San Francisco and just overall in the NFL, wherever he goes. If he stays with San Francisco or wherever he goes, I really believe he has a bright future ahead of him. Very good pass rusher, can cause chaos. Other than him, this is a weak defensive line, a weak defense in general. This is a game where Devontae Freeman might not get many snaps, but because he's still got to learn the playbook, right? He's probably, he's probably showing up at the Giants facility today. I bet you he's going to the Giants facility today. Last night he probably got the call. He's probably took a plane or wherever he was. I don't know if he was in Atlanta. If he was still in Atlanta, then you probably have to take a plane to the Giants facility. So he probably is arriving there today, which means it's Wednesday. Game Sunday, you're home, which actually does help because you don't have to have that Saturday be a travel day. That Saturday could be a walkthrough day. That's why home games are big, right? Instead of having Friday your last practice day, Saturday's your travel day. With the whole virus thing, you have to show up there a day early. So, technically Friday's your last practice day. So, since they're home, they get that extra day. So, technically, Saturday, they could do walkthroughs. So, he has pretty much, I don't know if he'll practice today, but he'll have definitely tomorrow, Friday, and maybe Saturday a little bit to practice. He might be on a limited snap count. They ain't going to give the ball to him 30 times Saturday or Sunday. Sorry about that. They ain't going to give him the ball 30 times Sunday. You might see him get the ball 7, 9 times. Somewhere around there. Give him anywhere from 9 to maybe 13 touches. somewhere around there. So, but these are meaningful touches for him, right? Because you also have Dion Lewis, who might be fighting for a little bit of a spot. He might have a chip on his shoulder, be like, I'm still here too, and here you go. Pick up another running back, I'm still here too. So, I think Devontae Freeman will be good. I think this was a good signing. I'm going to give it a B+. I don't think it was an A. I don't think it was an A+. I think it was a B+. Here's the reason why. First off, the Giants don't have what's limiting from giving me an A, Giants don't have a great offensive line. What's limiting from giving an A+, he hasn't played all season yet. He's also a new playbook, brand new playbook, right? If this would have happened in off season, Barkley, it's kind of a freak thing, but Barkley tore his ACL. If Barkley would have torn his ACL or somebody would have got injured, that would have resulted this to happen in the off season, then I probably would have gave it an A, because then he could learn behind the offense line, and also he's training like everyone else. This is a guy who hasn't played. We don't know what he's going to look like. I'm not trying to start anything, but we don't know if he's going to look like. It's either he gained weight, or he could very well gain weight. He could have very well lost weight. We don't know what he's going to look like. He hasn't played yet this season. He hasn't been in any training camps. So we just have to watch out. He passed COVID protocols, which means he is a member of the New York Giants officially. So Devontae Freeman, Giants reportedly agreed to 1 year, $3 million contract. I'll give it a B+ to an A, somewhere around there. Like I said, this week I don't think is going to be the greatest week to really judge him. But I think if he gets like 9 carries, he's got to take one of those carries and really jolt it. If he can get those 9 carries and give them like 40, 50 yards on 9 carries, they should be feeling pretty gosh darn happy with that performance. If you can get like 9, 10 carries and you give him like 50 yards, 40 yards, that's a pretty solid performance. You give him 9 carries and give him 15 yards, a little bit of a struggle. But if you follow what I'm saying, he's gonna probably if he plays at all this week, he'll be limited snap count. So he'll be limited probably. I maybe he won't be, but still, I don't foresee them giving him the ball 30 times on Sunday, even 20. I see him maybe getting the ball. I think he tops out at 13 to 15 touches this week, and the rest will go to Dion Lewis or whoever their third running back is, if there is another one. So it's interesting. It's a good move. You just have to watch out. Brand new offensive line, brand new team. This week could be a little dicey for him. Next week, I think, is the true judgment week, because that's when he'll probably get 20 carries, if anything, 15, 20 carries. That's when he'll have a whole week of practice. That's when he'll be, kind of learning what the offensive line's all about, right? When you join a team in the middle of the week and you got to play a game that Sunday against arguably the best defense in the NFL, although they're so beat up, but still, right? And things get interesting. So Devontae Freeman, Giants reportedly agreed to a 1 year, $3 million contract. The New York Giants and free agent running back Devontae Freeman have agreed to 1 year, $3 million deal per ESPN's Adam Schefter. Devontae turned down more money from other teams because he likes the opportunity with the Giants best. Drew Rosenhaus, Freeman's agent, told Schefter. The Giants lost franchise star and running back Saquon Barkley for the season to a torn right ACL suffered against the Chicago Bears on Sunday, September 20th. Barkley amassed 3,469 scrimmage yards with 23 touchdowns over his first 2 seasons. Replacing Barkley's production is a near impossible task, but the Giants were forced to score the free agent wire to fill a spot on the depth chart with his season over. The G-men entered the season with Dion Lewis as Barkley's backup and Wayne Gallman as the third-string running back. But New York clearly felt a need to add another player in its depth chart. Freeman was arguably the best option available. The free agent was still without a team after the Atlanta Falcons released him in March 16, following 6 years with them. Freeman signed a 5-year, $41.25 million contract extension with Atlanta in August 2017, following the Falcons' NFC title and near Super Bowl win over the New England Patriots. The fat deal came after the ex-Florida State amassed 3,175 scrimmage yards and 27 touchdowns from the 2015-2016. He was forced to, in the passing game, in particular, catching 127 passes for 1,040 yards and 5 scoring during the stretch. I mean, you read the stats, you look at the numbers, you look at what he did with the Falcons. This guy can be dangerous. We just have to see what he does, though. However, Freeman didn't find much success on the field in his final 3 years in Atlanta, whose offensive production was, as a whole, took a deep dip following offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan's departure to the San Francisco 49ers. Freeman was serviceable in 2017 with 1,182 yards from scrimmage and 8 touchdowns, but injuries held him to just 2 games in 2019. He returned in 2018. He returned in 2019, but the 5'8", 206-pound back struggled in 2019 with a career-low 3.6 yards per carry. The 28-year-old's days of being the team's backfield cow could now be over, but Freeman is still a solid dual-threat back capable of catching 50 or more passes per season. He notably has three game of 8 catches or more in 2019, including a 9-catch, 74-yard, 1 touchdown afternoon versus Jacksonville on December 22nd. The versatility could help him be a seal for New York amid difficult circumstances. And it's certainly possible he ends up taking the bulk of the running back workload for the remainder of the season ahead of Lewis and Gallman. The Giants' next game will be home on Sunday, September 27th versus the San Francisco 49ers at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, like I said, it's a good move. I think it's a good move. But you just have to watch out. New offensive line, a little bit of a struggle. He came off that injury. That's one thing, people. That's one thing you also have to worry about is the injuries. Right? When you see a player not come back strong after an injury and then get released by that team, has career low numbers that next year, that's where you start to get concerned. Because then the injury thing starts to kick in. Well, is this guy ever going to be the same? Right? That's the problem. So, like, that's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to get from this is, like, yes, they need a running back here, but I just want to see what he does. I really just want to see what he does because, usually sometimes after seasons of, where you get injured and you come back the next year and is nowhere as strong, then there's a problem there, So, you just have to watch out. So, you just have to watch out with that. So, I think it's a good move. You just want to see what the injury does, right? He had that injury that 1 year, and then all of a sudden now things are getting interesting. So, I think it's a good move. You just have to see what happens with that injury, right? Sometimes players get injuries and they're never the same. I mean, it stinks, but it is what it is. Sometimes players, it happens way too often in sports, especially in football. Happens way too much. But, they named it too. The Giants, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything, right? I don't try to be mean on this podcast, but what I'm trying to say is Deion Lewis and Wayne Gallman aren't going to help you win games, right? You need to bring in another running back, like a Devontae Freeman that is a Pro Bowl running back. I'm pretty sure he's made the Pro Bowl a couple times, right? You need a guy like him. Deion Lewis and Wayne Gallman aren't going to help you win games, and if they want to somehow even make a miracle comeback to the playoffs, you need somebody else. And Daniel Jones is another thing. People could say, oh, well, you got to rely on the passing game. Well, here's the problem. Daniel Jones has been horrible in the first 2 games. What has he got? 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions, I think? He's been horrible. He's been horrible in the first 2 games. Just been horrible. So, people could say, well, now that Barkley's gone, they're not going to run the ball anyway. Well, you kind of have to run the ball a little bit because Daniel Jones has been horrible until he gets his rhythm or whatever, until he gets something going on. You can't throw the ball. He's been horrible. He has not been Daniel Jones that anybody expected. Been horrible. Last game against the Bears, he threw no touchdowns and 1 interception. He's not been good at all. And I understand he's not working with the best receiving core either. Darius Slayton's not bad. Evan Ingram's pretty good. Golden Tate's old. He's all right. But, he's not working a better receiving core than the Jets do. So, not the best receiving core, but better than the Jets do. So that's another thing. People could say, well, Devontae Freeman's not going to do much. We don't really need Devontae Freeman because, Wayne Gallman and Deion Lewis are all right, but we don't need anything special. Well, if we were sitting here and the Giants were 0-2, but Daniel Jones was absolutely dominating, it's actually the Giants' defense that's playing well. That's what it is. You look at a team like the Giants, right? Let's just say they were sitting here 0-2. Saquon Barkley tears the ACL. Sitting here 0-2. But let's just say, I don't know, Daniel Jones has thrown already 5 touchdowns and 1 interception. Maybe they're scoring big points, but they're just not. Their defense isn't playing well. Their defense is actually surprisingly playing well. This is the opposite. Their defense is playing well. Their offense isn't. I was expecting their offense to be decent and their defense to be bad. Their defense is playing well. Their offense isn't. Let's just say their defense wasn't playing well. They're 0-2, but Daniel Jones has thrown 5 touchdowns and 1 interception through the first 2 games. They're absolutely dominating. The hookup with Slayton's working good. Evan Ingram's working good. Maybe 1 or 2 of those touchdowns was to Barkley or whatever, but still, right? If we were sitting here and Daniel Jones had 5 touchdowns, 5, 6 touchdowns, and 1 interception, and we were sitting here talking, even if he had 3 touchdowns and 1 interception, actually 3 is maybe a little bit of a push because Darnold's got 3, right? Darnold's got 2. So I would say even if he's got, let's just say we're sitting here 5 touchdowns. Daniel Jones has got 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's dominating, big yards, but they're 0-2 because their defense they've been shootouts. Maybe 40-3, 40-30, maybe 35-30. It's been shootouts, but their defense just can't hang on. If we were sitting here and that happened, I would say pick up Freeman, or maybe not even just all Freeman, but you might be able to survive with Deion Lewis and Wayne Gallman. But the fact that Daniel Jones is really struggling, he has not been able to find his rhythm, he hasn't been able to connect to receivers, he's been throwing so many interceptions, you need another running back, and you need a one that's pretty reliable in, you need a one that's pretty reliable in Devontae Freeman. So, this is a good move for the New York Giants, and I think they needed to make this move. Like I said, your quarterback's struggling, your offense is struggling. Maybe Devontae Freeman's like the secret potion or secret guy to get some life in this offense. Because that offense out there looks dead just like the Jets. It looks bad. The Jets and the Giants' offenses are horrible in the first 2 games. The Jets look more horrible just because, the Jets aren't even competing. At least the Giants are competing. Like at least the Giants, they lost 17-13. At least they came down to literally the final play of the game. They took a shot to the end zone. All right, their Jets are done at the half. The Jets in both games have been down 21-3 going into halftime. So at least the Giants going into halftime are in reasonable distance. The Giants the Giants only lost by 10 against the Steelers. Jets lost by 18 against. At least the Giants are competing. But maybe Devontae Freeman is the secret kind of little spark to this offense, that's to give this some team life, because the Jets or the Giants don't have any life in their offenses. Both defenses are playing decent, but the Jets, what defense? You really can't. The Jets play solid defense, but it looks ugly because the Jets only score 13 points. The Jets allow 30 points on defense, but the amount of times we had chances where we stopped them, but the offense just couldn't do anything. There's also some dumb plays by Adam Gase that forced the defense into bad positions. Meaning like going forward on 4th down and 1. That wasn't a bad decision, but when you put in your 4th string running back in there, when you have an all-time great standing right next to you, don't get that. But a good move for the New York Giants, and it should be very interesting to see what he does. I want to see, is he back to his old self? Is he anything like I'm not talking Devontae Freeman. I'm not talking Devontae Freeman 3 years ago, but I'm talking, is he anything like that? Like maybe not 1,300 yards, 1,000 whatever, how many yards he put up. Maybe not that. But maybe something close to it. Maybe like 800 yards, 900 yards, something near it. Maybe he shows plays where he, or is he going to be like he was a couple years ago and he's averaging 3 yards a carry, right? What Devontae Freeman are we get? That's why I think it's a good move, but it's a little bit of a gamble. Because what Devontae Freeman are you going to get? You're either going to get the decent I don't think it would be anything like the old Devontae Freeman, but you're either going to get the okay Devontae Freeman, or you're going to get like the 3-yard per game Devontae Freeman. So it's going to be, it's kind of a 50-50 vote. Well, let's vote on it. All right, it's going to be one of those things. So good move for the New York Giants. Should be should be interesting to see what he does. So now next up, we got the Jets practice. So multiple reports show that the Jets practice is not very good. They're not practicing really good. Their practices just aren't run well, and they're really struggling. So, yes. So, should be interesting. But we coming up next, we got the Jets practice. You really can't expect to win a game when you don't practice correctly. So, coming up next, Jets practice situation. Okay, so I don't know. Okay, never mind. I'm just trying to see if this trade is accepted. Yeah, I don't know if it is accepted or not. I don't think it is. Alright, so now we go on to New York Jets. That's what happens whenever I trade. I usually Alrighty, what just happened to my screen? Alrighty. Something is going on with my screen. Alrighty, so something is really going on with my screen here. I might have to do this like this. Alright, something is going on with my screen. Okay, I think we've got this under control. My screen just have gotten a bunch of random stuff just kept on popping up, like videos and stuff, because I'm on a site, and sometimes, you have those ads. I don't do that stuff. I don't know if you do. You have to pay like $5 to remove ads or whatever. Everything costs money these days. Like, if you want to remove an ad from like a site, you have to pay like $10 or $5. Like, I'm not going to pay $5 for that. So anyway, Adam Gase responds on New York Jets practice criticism. I haven't necessarily felt that. So that's what Adam Gase said today. So let me kind of just give you a run through what happened. I kind of gave you a brief description of what was happening with the New York Jets practices earlier, but let me kind of give you a more in-depth description and what's happening at Jets practices. So yesterday, Avery Williamson and Bradley, I should actually start with Bradley McDougald, go in order here instead of going to Avery Williamson and then what Bradley McDougald said before. So Bradley McDougald, I want to say it was like 2 weeks ago or sometime when he got to the Jets. Sometime when he got to the New York Jets after that Jamal Adams trade, he said something between the lines of, it's nothing like it was in Seattle. Meaning practice-wise. Like, he really feels where the team's going wrong is in practice. They're not practicing well. And you might say, well, how in the world do you practice good? Well, I guess from what I've heard, the Jets just aren't practicing very good. Meaning, like, their practices are not like, So here it is. So this is what Jets Bradley McDougald said. This is what he literally said. Okay, so I found it here. An update that just came up. Right here. Boom. See. Right here. Jets call out practice habits. Bradley McDougald pins ugly 0-2 start on poor practices. It all goes back to practice. We've got some slow practices. That's what he said. That's what he said. That's what he said. So, like I said, let me just quickly. Sorry, guys, about this. Hold up. Let me just quickly get this. Okay, here we go. Boom. Okay, so perfect. Alrighty, perfect. Okay, got my site back up and going. Alright, so right here, Jets Bradley McDougald, Avery Williamson call out team for poor practice habits. Okay, so here's my whole thing. So Bradley McDougald came out and said that the practice are not good. Avery Williamson came out and said that the practices are not very good. Here's my whole thing with the practices, and this goes all the way back to the head coach, Adam Gase, worst coach in the NFL right now. Okay, how? Please tell me. Please tell me, because I want to know. I would like to know. I would like to know. How in the world? And tell me. I would like to know. Comment if you have something, or anybody who's watching this video. If you want to tell me how, comment in the comment section. How in the world are you supposed to go out every Sunday? Remember, this is pro football. This isn't flag football. You miss a practice, it's okay. After the game, you get your snacks and stuff. No matter what, you get your snacks. No matter what, after the game, you get your snacks because you played well. You gave it a good effort. No, we're not talking about flag football. We're not talking about, flag football. We're not talking about any of that. We are talking about people, the NFL, National Football League, an NFL team in the New York Jets are not practicing correctly. How in the world are you supposed to go out there on Sunday and expect to win games against teams if your practices aren't good? And like I said, please tell me, because I would love to know. How in the world are you supposed to go out there every Sunday, give it 110% if the practices during the week that are supposed to help prepare you going up into the game aren't good? How are you supposed to win? And it obviously has shown, because the Jets were flat on week 1 against the Bills, flat week 2 against the 49ers. I'm going to more than likely say they're going to be flat week 3 against the Colts coming up this weekend. I'm more than likely that's going to happen again. coming at 9.5-point underdogs. This is why, people, we're the worst team in the NFL. Because there's a guy by the name of Adam Gase. Guy can't even look straight because his eyes are all over the place. And we expect him to win games. He can't even run practices. And we expect him to win. And we expect him to win games. Guy can't even run a proper practice. Oh, he's a brilliant offensive mind. Great head coach. If you can't run a practice correctly, then how in the world are you supposed to win? How in the world are you supposed to go there on Sunday and compete against other teams? I mean, this is embarrassing. This has gotten embarrassing, people. Like, this is officially embarrassing. Officially embarrassing. I can't believe, and this is just coming out too, I can't believe the New York Jets. I can't believe I watch this team every weekend when they don't even practice. So you're pretty much saying they're giving up. Like, they're not even practicing, really. They're not even practicing. And of course, Gase is going to come out because you know how much of a losing head coach he is going to come out and say, "Oh, I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way." Really? But every time your team comes out really slow on Sundays. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can't believe I root for this franchise. And that's what I said about the Giants just a couple minutes ago. Right? Everybody talks about the Giants being horrible. At least they're competitive. At least they were in the game against the Steelers. At least they were in the game against the Bears. The Jets are done by halftime. I mean, for crying out loud, the Jets were done 10 seconds into the game last week because technically the game-winning touchdown was the first play of the game. Because ever since that, they didn't lose the lead since that. So that's why, I bet you that's why the New York Jets can't do anything. That's why everybody complains that we look sloppy out there. Because if our practices aren't good, how in the world are you supposed to go out there and win games? It's almost like saying you don't practice a day in your life and you're expected to go out there and make an NFL team. I mean, come on. Be real here. We don't practice well. We're not practicing good. These practices are, you're telling me, practices are what? Probably about 3 hours. You're telling me these 3 hours are a waste of time. So these 3 hours the Jets get each day of the week, they're not doing much. They're wasting it. They're literally wasting it. And that is why they go out there on Sundays and look the way they look. And that is a miserable, a horrible, a losing football team. A team that looks sloppy, a team that looks miserable, a team that looks awful, and a team overall, to sum it up, is atrocious. That's why. I understand now. I get it now. I understand now. Because I've been wondering for a while. I thought it was Adam Gase, and it still is Adam Gase. Because now Adam Gase can't run a practice. So we expect this guy to win us games. Now we have to take baby steps. Okay, first you got to do well in practice. Okay, good. You did well in practice. Now you got to do well in games. Can't do well in games either. So this explains why. So Adam Gase fails us in practice. Adam Gase fails us in games. Adam Gase has another failed season with the New York Jets. We sit here now at 0-2 and absolutely... And this is why I feel bad for Sam Darnold. This is a guy amazing college quarterback. This is a guy who's shown moments of greatness in his career. And is now on a team that can't practice properly, got a worst head coach in the league as his coach, and got one of the worst receiving corps in the league as his receiving corps. Can it get any worse for the guy? Can it get any worse for Sam Darnold? I guess he could have a horrible offensive line. That's one thing that is good. We did improve our offensive line. Last year was horrible, but finally he's got protection. Finally the guy's not getting decked every play. Finally the guy can breathe in the pocket. There was times last year he would snap the ball and 2-3 players would be running at him. Finally the guy can actually breathe. The guy can actually throw the ball. Last year, he couldn't even throw the ball. He would get sacked before he can even get the ball. Jets, Bradley McDougald, and Avery Williamson call out team for poor practice habits. And like I said, I'm not going to lie. Like I said, and it's not like these are two players that barely play. These are two starters. These are two very good players on this defense that make impacts. And Bradley McDougald knows too. He came from the Seahawks, one of the most consistent franchises in all the NFL. He came from there. They're very good. He knows how they practice. So he came to the Jets, not very good, and look how they're practicing. That's even more of a reason why I believe this. For two New York Jets defenders, the team's slow start to the season is attributed to the way they practice. It all goes back to practice. We've had some slow practices, and it correlates to the game. Safety Bradley McDougall told SNY TV after a 31-13 loss to San Francisco 49ers in Week 2. We need to have a complete full weeks of just great practices, and I don't think we've had that yet. The sooner we realize that and hone in how important practice is, coming out and winning at a practice, then it will translate to games on Sunday. Exactly. I mean, you really can't expect. So it was a quick article, right? You really can't expect to go out there and win a game, and you don't even practice. I'm gonna go try out for the NFL, guys. Have you ever touched a football? What does a football look like? I'm gonna go out there and try to play quarterback. I'm going to try to take Patrick Mahomes' position for the Kansas City Chiefs. I've never even seen a football before. It's almost like saying that. So it's almost like saying the Jets, for the 6 days a week or 5 days a week they get to practice, they're not doing it correctly. And come game days, they're getting blown out of the water because they don't know how to practice. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. That is the saddest thing I've ever heard. A football franchise struggling to practice. They are struggling to practice. Please. Just think about that for a second. This isn't no like minor league team. This isn't no team where this isn't nothing like that. This is the biggest football league in all the world. The NFL. You're talking about an NFL. We can't even run a practice correctly. But yet we still keep this atrocious head coach as our head coach. The guy can't even run a practice correctly. How in the world do we have this guy still as our head coach? I mean, are you crazy? After hearing this, if I was the Jets GM right now, I would fire him right now. The guy can't even run and this is a pro. How you can't be in this? You can't be a coach for a pro football team. A big franchise, too. This is a team that's in a big market area of New York, near New York. They're obviously playing New Jersey, but this is a New York football team, a New York sports team, and they don't even know how to practice properly. Oh, my gosh. It's just so sad. It is so sad. But yet we still, just crazy. 3 simple words to sum up the Jets season. Fire Adam Gase. JETS stands for just end the season. We hire a head coach. Oh, he's a brilliant offensive line. He did this. He did that. He did this. Fire him, or we hire him. Amazing guy. 7-9 his first season, 0-2 his second season. Now he can't run practice. And look at the Jets' schedule. Where in the world do you see us getting a win? We might go 0-16. Just atrocious. Unbelievable. Unbelievable we still have this guy as our head coach. Every year, every single year, it's the same thing. We get hyped, everybody's pumped, we lose. We lose again. Hire a horrible coach, lose again. It's the same thing. Everybody's like, oh, the Jets have to rebuild once again. Everybody's like, oh, the Jets have to completely start a brand new rebuild. Here's my question. When did we stop our rebuild? We've been rebuilding since the 2010 season. Where in the world along the past 10 years did we stop our rebuild? Is my question. Okay, that 10-6 year we missed the playoffs. Guess what? The next year we're right back to 5-11. Where along these past 10 years, almost 11 now, did we stop our rebuild? Where? 10-6, that 10-6 season, guess what? That very next season, pretty much the same roster of guys. That was a one-year wonder. Guess what? The next season, we finally had a challenging schedule. Guess what? We went 5-11. Okay, I'm trying to figure out. Everybody's like, oh, the Jets have been completely stripped down to fire the head coach and start a brand new rebuild. Where along these past 10 years have we stopped our rebuild? This is a team that's been rebuilding forever. Horrible coach. Not much talent. Can't believe I'm still rooting for this team. We have a head coach that can't run a practice properly. I sit here and really can't even just think of that. This is an NFL team, and we can't even practice properly. Like, what? In a way, I don't believe this. Because I don't, are we really that bad? Are we really that bad? So I would really love, it stinks with the whole virus thing, but I would really love to go to Jets, the facility right now, and really, really love to see what they're doing at practice. Unbelievable. And that's why we're 0-2 and more than likely are going to have another horrible season. That's why we're 0-2 and could very well, we might finish the season 1-15. That's why. So, the New York Jets fail again. Now we fail in games. Now we're failing at practice. What's next to fail at? I don't think there's really much. I think we've checked all the boxes at failing. So, Jets fail again. I don't know what more has to be said about this. I mean, it's just horrible. It is really just embarrassing. It is really just embarrassing. Every season is the same thing. Jets finish 5-11. Jets finish 4-12. Jets finish 7-9. Jets are 0-2. Guess what? Jets are going to miss the playoffs again. And now we can't practice properly. One of my favorite sports teams that is actually doing well is the New York Yankees. And that is what helps me out a lot. Because, the Jets can't do anything. But I love when the Jets, if the Jets get crushed, I don't like it. But when the Jets get crushed and the Yankees play maybe later on in that day and I watch the game or whatever, it helps me out a lot. Because usually the Yankees win. Especially during that 10-game win streak. It was really nice. So at least the Yankees are playing well. At least the Yankees are good. At least this is a team that's won more than one Super Bowl and appeared in more than one. So thanks, the Yankees. Yankees moved to 32-23 on the season. They had a big 12-1 win last night. They had 12 runs, 15 hits, no errors. Blue Jays 1 run, 5 hits, no errors. Judge was really hot yesterday. LeMay went 0 for 4 with a run, scored. Kratz 0 for 0. Judge had a big day, 3 for 5 with 3 runs and an RBI. Hicks 2 for 4 with 2 runs and 3 RBIs. Talkman 0 for 1 with a 0 for 0 with a run and a walk. Voit 0 for 4, Wade 0 for 1, Torres 3 for 5 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Urshela 4 for 5 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. He's starting around again. He's been hot. Frazier went 0 for 4 with a run and a walk. Gardner went 1 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. Higashioka 2 for 4 with a run scored and 2 RBIs. Cole had an amazing game. 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 earned, no walks, 7 strikeouts. Britton 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 1 strikeout. Ottavino 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Yankees pick up a win. I give them another win. We're rolling right now. Winning our last 11 out of our last 12, I think. We're really rolling. Very good news for the New York Yankees. Pick up another win, which is great. The Mets, on the other hand, they found themselves getting a win last night. They won 5-2. Good win against the Tampa Bay Rays. They had 5 runs, 10 hits, 1 error. Rays 2 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. Mets had McNeil went 2 for 4. J.D. Davis 0 for 3 with a walk. Dom Smith 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored. Frazier 1 for 4. Cano 2 for 4 with a run scored, RBI. Jimenez 0 for 0. Alonso went 2 for 3 with a run scored, a walk, and 3 RBIs. Nimmo went 0 for 0. Rosario for 4. Heredia 1 for 3 with a run scored, and RBI. Trinos 1 for 2 with a walk. Lugo went 6 1/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. Wilson 2/3 of an inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 1 strikeout. Shreve 1 inning, no hits, no earned, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Diaz 1 inning, 1 hit, no earned, no walks, 1 strikeout. The Mets win 5-2. They play today. I give the Rays a win. Stanley Cup. Now we move on to the Stanley Cup tonight. Game 3 of this series, 1-1 tied up. I'm going to give the Stars the win. Here's my reasoning on this one, okay? Personally, I'm actually probably I might be rooting for the Dallas. I kind of just want to see a good series. See, when the Rangers lost, I was rooting for the Islanders to go all the way because they were the lone New York team left, and so I was rooting for the Islanders. So I was rooting for the Islanders throughout. They lost to the Lightning, so I kind of want the Stars to win, but also in a way I don't really care because I don't really, I'm not if it was maybe a team like the Vegas Knights in it, I would definitely root for the Vegas Knights. Just because I think the Vegas Knights are pretty cool. They're an expansion team. They've been so successful. The Stars, not that I don't like them. I just don't really have any really likes or dislikes on their team. So I'm kind of like mediocre on this one. So I just hope to see a good series. But I do see the Stars win, and here's my reasoning. The Lightning scored three quick goals in Game 2. All right, they came out with a quick, fast start. The Stars came back. 1 goal in the second, 1 goal in the third, forced a lot of pressure in that third period. I like what I saw late for the Dallas Stars. I think that's going to carry over into tonight's game. A lot of good pressure on the goal, a lot of good defense in that second and third period. The Stars really owned it, and I like that going to the next game. Hockey's, I feel like a big game going to momentum, so I give the Stars the win for that reason. So Stars win Game 2, I think. So, what are we sitting at? 15 minutes, I think, right? All right, so the Yankees last night, once again, let's read the hits. 15 hits. I mean, just unreal. I mean, just really good, really good. So, Yankees play again today. Hopefully, we can get the win again. Are we at 15 minutes now? I want to say that's 50 minutes. I try to do 15-minute pods. That's usually my time, is around 50 minutes. I usually do 20 minutes for the first topic, 20 minutes for the second topic, 10 minutes for the last topic. That's usually how I do it. 20 minutes for the last topic I could do, but the last topic's pretty quick. I kind of just read off all the numbers, tell you what happened in the games, and preview them and all that stuff. So, Yankees, Mets play tonight. Stanley Cup's tonight. No football on tonight. Football will be back on tomorrow. The start of Week 3 is tomorrow. Should be exciting. Week 3, people, already, and this is what I always find crazy. It's like Week 3 is already tomorrow. Week 3 is tomorrow. I mean, it's crazy that Week 3 is already starting tomorrow. Like, it feels like Week 1 was just starting. Like, it's crazy. So, exciting. Tomorrow, preview the Jaguars-Dolphins games, which is Week 3. Give you my game picks. Start off Week 3. Week 2, like I said, I was a bang with my game picks. Really was very good. Got the Mets tonight. Stanley Cup tonight. Yankees tonight. So, should be exciting. Excited to watch those games. So, with all that being said, that's what I got for the BSN Arc podcast. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. I'll see you all back here tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.